light case. So this was the second product that came out from ROKBOX, with the feedback of this is all, you know, bells and whistles, singing and dancing, full protection, fantastic for more expensive artworks. But what about those smaller, quicker movements? And, you know, again, can we try and make it as light as possible for the technicians, but also for the CO2 sustainability element? So this case was built 100%. We haven't talked about recycling that. We should need to do that at some point. But this case was built in mind with lightweight, 100% recyclable. So it's made of PPE, polypropylene, and every single element within it, apart from this silicone seal, is made of the same material. So these outside beams, these small plastic inserts, the corners, the velour, the actual hook and loop strapping are all made of the same material. And the panels, what did I say? Are all made of the same material. So in the UK, we could put that in our domestic recycling. We could literally just put it in our local bin and it would go and be remade into yogurt pots. In other countries, there's obviously a variety of how things are being recycled, but our aim is to make sure that these can be, in most cases, recycled as much as possible. So again, it's incredibly lightweight, made the same thing you make crash helmets out of. The corners, again, we've built something similar in here where you have corners that are a little bit more robust in order to take some of that topple and shock out of it. They are also built with a small ledge on the outside. I'm not sure if you can see that. Turn around a bit. And what that means is you can nestle the cases in together. So they're built with an inset here and a larger section here, so they can fit together and be transported in bulk, 2, 3, 4, 5 all together, put on a pallet, for example. The hook and loop strapping and the velour system is one system you can use inside the case. We'll go into fixings in a separate video, but this comes as standard with strapping. These here are the inserts in which you screw the lid down. So they have little metal screws that are used to put the lid down. This is probably the area that has the most vulnerability. So although this case originally is designed to go 100+ movements, this is seen as a case that is a little bit more disposable because it's fully recyclable. So we say 10 reuse cases, 10 reuses at the moment. We have clients who have this case and they've used it 25+ times. So you take care of it, you look after it. This case will last you a long time. But we are aware that there is within here a screw. And if someone goes in with a heavy screwdriver, they will, or even a drill, they will potentially thread that. And it will make it much harder to then put the screw in. Theoretically, the screw may not even go in properly. So that's an area of vulnerability. We are a design product manufacturer, so our plan is to make a system where that's not a vulnerability. So we can then say our cases are 10+, you know, whatever we want to get to. But we currently recommend approximately 10 uses for this case. If we go and talk about the various testing data, forklift on this, again, you'll see a picture in the performance data. The forklift kept putting more, it was a gradual process of putting pressure, which is one of the tests that we do. And the forklift, the prongs push more and more and more onto the lid until basically it breaks through with a wooden case. With this, we actually had to stop the test because the pressure was so intense that the lid and the back were touching, but it did not go through the panel. The reason is the panel, though it's made of the same material as this, as the beams and as the corners, etc., is made in a honeycomb shape. And what that means is it's incredibly robust. It's really strong. And that's why the forklift, it's incredibly lightweight, but also very, very robust. So basically the prongs couldn't go through. As the original case, again, integrated handles, very easy to use, very lightweight, really loved by places that are, you know, awkward places where you go up and down steps. Paris, for example, where they have lots of tiny museums with tiny lifts. So these are very popular there. Anything else?
Lots of people think it's lower spec and therefore only suitable for domestic travel or travel by truck. The truth is there's lots of these flying around the world, as you probably know. In Loop, they have the pallet feet attached as standard. And I think that's probably it. Yeah.
In terms of waterproofing, there's obviously a seal here which keeps it protected for water. In terms of vibration and shock, it will not perform to the level of this, but again, it performs to a very high standard and beats a wooden case. What other tests are there? Water, forklift I've talked about. Shock and vibration we talked about.
One of the reasons why it's so good for things like shock is because it's so light. So, for example, the topple test on the ROKBOX LITE is amazing because there's hardly any force going inside the crate, basically because as it falls down, it doesn't float down, but the air gets underneath it, and it means it doesn't land with such a wallop as a heavy crate does. So its lightweight nature also helps it perform better in worst case situations.
We'll talk about environment in the other one, but apart from that, I think we could probably talk a little bit about Nest. So we designed this to fit inside the original. So there's specific case sizes. The 1.2 by 1.2 Lite will fit inside the 1.6 by 1.6 original. The 1.2 by 1.6 Lite will fit in the 1.6 by 2 meter original. So you can kind of see the dimensions that's working there. And what we're doing at the moment is we have just foam corners that we put in the side. We would like to develop a product that fits the light inside the case and uses the floating panel, so we get all that extra vibration quality. That is something that's in the process, and we hope to have that out by the end of the year that we can then also supply. So it would be a Velcro pad that would sit on the back of here, we'd stick it into the case, and then suddenly you'd have again everything attached onto that floating panel.
We can show you. There's one here with foam corners.
You can see the foam corners are here. Currently at the moment. So this is, again, we would recommend this as the most secure option for moving your artwork around. It's got, as you know, it's going to have incredibly strong elements. You've got this whole museum case, and then with like the equivalent of a travel frame inside. The fixings are multi, can be used in both sides, and that's again something I should cover. So I'll cover in a different video. But yeah, okay, thank you.